Hi students, it's me Satish Kumar again. In this lecture, I'm going to deliver the continuity equation of current and relaxation time. This is a very important question in electrostatics. Okay, let's see what is actually continuity equation and what is the integral form of it and point form of continuity equation for current and also the expression for the relaxation time. Okay, so the statement of continuity equation is that the current density diverging from a small volume is equal to time rate of decrease of charge per unit volume. So the meaning of charge density which is diverging from a small volume, okay, so that always indicates divergence of any vector, always indicates the amount of the physical quantity. If A is a physical quantity which is coming out of any closed surface, see, any closed surface, if this is a closed surface, if any physical quantity is coming out of this particular closed surface, okay, is nothing but is also diverging from this particular volume, okay, because there is some volume which is always enclosed in a closed surface. That's what is the divergence theorem is relating. Divergence theorem is always between closed surface and open volume, because there is an open volume which is present inside the closed surface. That's what is mentioned here. The current density diverging, current density here is J, okay, that's what is given here. So del dot J means it is the current or current density which is coming out, and diverging means coming out of any small volume or closed surface is equal to time rate of decrease of charge per unit volume. Time rate of decrease, okay, this minus always indicates it's a rate of decrease of time. Minus increase, minus indicates it's a decrease, and dou by dou t here indicates it's a rate of change, okay. So this minus dou by dou t will be always giving you rate of decrease. If that minus is not there, you have to say it is simply rate of increase or simply rate of change. Rate of change means it is always rate of increase. That minus is there means it's rate of decrease. Rate of decrease of charge, okay, this rho v is the volume charge density. That's the reason it is called as charge per unit volume, because the units of rho v are coulomb per meter cube at any given point. This is what I have to prove, okay, I have to prove from the continuity equation. Okay, let's see now how we can prove this particular one. And this given equation is called as point form, because if there is no integration here, we should call it as point form, or this is also called differential form. Okay, this point form is also called differential form of continuity equation, right? So for to prove this, let us take a closed surface. You can take this particular surface in any form. Either you can take it in the form of an irregular closed surface, or a spherical surface, or a rectangular box type of thing, or a square box, anything. But inside you will always have some charges which are present in it. Okay, so inside I'm talking, if it's not on the surface, you should assume that these charges are inside, and let that charge be, let us take only that is a positive charge, and that positive charge, initial charge which is present inside that closed surface is, let's say, qi, and the volume of that entire box is, let's say, v, and the surface area of that particular surface, closed surface, is s. And this is a small differential surface through which, let us assume that the charges are coming out. Okay, it's not just coming, the charges are coming through this particular surface only. Okay, if you want the total charge which is coming out, or if you want the charges are coming out, that means the current is also coming out, because rate of change of charge is called current, right? So when the charges are coming out in all the directions, okay, that can be calculated by considering a very small differential surface. Through that, how much amount of charge which is coming, that is current which is coming, then we will extend it for the entire integration. Okay, so through this particular differential surface, how much amount of the current which is coming, okay, and then if we extend it for the entire surface by using surface integration, then we will get the total current which is coming out of that entire surface. Okay, that's what we are going to consider here. Rho v is the volume charge density, V is the volume, S is the surface area, Qi is the initial charge density, initial charge, and ds is a small differential surface through which the charges are coming out. Okay, and this J, which is always normal to that differential surface. Okay, so that's what is initially considered, right? Now, let us try to write some statements about this particular diagram. Consider an arbitrary volume V bounded by a closed surface. Okay, so volume is enclosed by a closed surface. This is what is divergence theorem which is relating. Okay, so that's what is mentioned. An arbitrary volume V is bounded by a closed surface. Yes, S is a closed surface and current density is J flowing through the surface area S. Okay, surface or surface area both are denoted by S only. Let an incremental or differential surface ds vector, okay, which is taken here, is normal to the direction of current density. Okay, if you take the differential surface like this, okay, as the current is entering into it and coming out like this, whatever is the current direction is also the direction of current density, and that current density direction is always normal to this differential surface. Okay, so the differential surface direction is normal to it, and that ds vector direction and j vector both are in the same direction, because the ds vector is also normal to it and j vector is also normal to it, right? So let a differential surface ds be normal to the direction of current density. Okay, so the direction of j is normal to the surface, direction of ds vector is also normal to the surface. That's what is clearly mentioned in it. Then the total current I, which is crossing the surface S, is given by. We always know that the relation between I and J is I is equal to surface integral J dot ds. The units of J is ampere per meter square and ds is meter square. Ampere per meter square into meter square will always give you current. That means it is clearly indicating that this current I will always be obtained when you consider J will be generally given to you and ds is the small differential surface through which how much amount of that J which is crossing. Okay, that J dot ds will be giving us the amount of current which is crossing that particular surface. Only this J dot ds will be the current which is very small, little amount of current which is coming out of this particular differential surface. But if you want the total current which is coming out of it, then you should always take the surface integral, which is a double integration, right? So when you take this double integration, then you will know the total amount of current which is coming out of the entire surface, because there will be several number of charges which are coming out of that closed surface. Because of the charges which are coming out, entire charge has not come, only at a particular time only few charges have come out. Because of that, there will be a current which is coming out of it. If all the charges have come out, that means the entire current I is equal to closed surface integral J dot ds. Okay, so that I is always be the total current which is coming out of which is obtained from the charges which are coming out from the closed surface. Okay, that's how you will be getting this I in terms of J and ds. This is your first equation of current. You need to similarly get the expression for another current. Okay, and when we equate both these currents, you will be able to get the expression for continuity equation, both in terms of integral form and point form or differential form, right? Now what happened here is there will be few charges, there will be n number of charges inside this particular closed surface. After a particular time, there are few charges which have come out, there are few charges which have come out. Because of that, I have given the expression for I. Now the point is we know that, look at here, we know that from the principle of conservation of energy or charge, it's not energy, it's charge. principle of conservation of charge, which states that the charge can neither be created nor destroyed. That means you cannot create any charges and you cannot destroy any charges. It means simply in that box, let's say there are some 100 number of charge. It is only an example. Please don't write anywhere. Let us say there are 100 charges. After a certain time, let's say there are 60 charges which have come out, and because of those 60 charges I have calculated the current which is coming out of the closed surface. Now there will be how many charges which are present in that? There will be 40 charges. What he is trying to say is, when 60 charges have come out, don't think that there will be lesser than 40 or more than 40 will be present in it. There will be exactly 40 number of charges which will be present, because you are not generating any charges and you are not destroying any charges. So absolutely there will be 40 number of charges which will be present in that. But what is happened here is, initially there was around 100 charges. Now because of 60 charges which are left in it, only 40 charges will be present. Now I'm not going to write the expression for the current due to these 40 charges. I'm going to write the expression for the current due to the 60 charges which were left from this particular box or closed surface. Or else we can say it in another way as, there will be 60 charges which are reduced in this particular box. One example I can say here is, let's say there will be 60 number of students which will be present in a class. After you took, let's say, 1 hour, okay, when you have given a break, let's say there will be 5 students left the class due to some reason, right? Then the concerned class in charge has come and checked, okay, how many students were there previously? 60. Now how many were there? 55. Okay, so when that concerned class in charge asked the class who is taking, what is the strength of the class? Okay, so previously there were 60, now it is 55. That means there are 5 students which are reduced in the class. Instead of saying 5 students left the class, okay, to convince the concerned class in charge, what he can say is, there are 5 students which are reduced in the class. Okay, so the 5 students who left the class is equal to the 5 students who are reduced in the class. Same thing here, 60 charges which left the closed surface is equal to the 60 charges which are reduced in this particular box. And because of these 60 charges which are left, I have already given the current I. Now I am going to write, because of the 60 charges which are reduced in this, I am also going to write one expression. That's what here is obtained from the law of conservation of charge. Okay, so law of conservation of charge always gives you, charge can neither be created nor destroyed. Okay, so it actually means the outward flow of positive charge or positive charges is always equal to the rate of decrease of charge inside the closed surface, because we know very well that rate of change of charge is always denoted by I. Whether it is rate of increase of charge or decrease of charge is immaterial, but rate of change of charge will always give us current, and that rate of decrease or increase we will be writing it in terms of current. Now initially, Qi is the total charge which within the closed surface. Now, the rate of charge which is decreasing through the surface S is also denoted by the current I. Okay, you can denote this current by something like rate of decrease. Okay, let us say that is ID. Okay, which means a decreased current, which is always equal to rate of change of charge is dqi by dt, but because it's a rate of decrease, you should always keep it minus there, and consider that equation is an second equation. Okay, so from now onwards you can equate, because those currents are equal, you can always equate those two currents. Okay, so that is, one is absolutely equal to two. But first equation, which is the equation of current, is the closed surface. Why it is closed? Because you have applied that expression I equal to surface integral j dot ds is applied to a closed surface. You should always take it as closed surface integral of that I will be always equal to j dot ds, which is equal to, and this I is also equal to minus d by dt of qi. Call this is equation number 3. But the problem here is this is in terms of closed surface integral and this is in terms of differentiation, normal differentiation. You should always try to reduce this and remove that integration, and that is possible when you write the expression for q. Okay, you might have already studied that the expression of q in various integrations and in terms of various charge densities. That is, if you want to express or find the charge in a line charge distribution, you should always go for this particular formula, line integral rho LDL. And if it is a surface charge distribution, it's a surface integral, which is a double integral rho SDS. Also, you can call it as either a triple integration or a volume. Simply put in one integration and put V, and that is rho V dV. Okay, or else you can also write like this. It's simply a volume integral rho V dV. Okay, either you keep three integrations or a single integration, it is your choice. Okay, now what you can write here is, always we know that there is a relation between closed surface integral and open volume integral, which is giving us the divergence, which is given by the divergence theorem. So it is always better to, because we don't have surface charge and we don't have line charge, we have only the volume charge which is present inside the closed surface. So it is always better to write the volume integration expression here. That is, therefore, closed surface integral j dot ds will always be equal to its minus d by dt of, okay, right, this volume integral of rho v dv. Okay, there will be one very important consideration that you have to take here. D by dt here, which is outside. Okay, and we can able to send this because this d by dt, which is a function of time, is actually independent of this volume. So if you send this d by dt inside, there will not be much change, but only thing is rho v is a function of three independent variables xyz or rho phi z or r theta phi for different coordinate system. This is rectangular, this is cylindrical, and this is spherical. So what happens here is, whenever you attach this differentiation to a function which is, to a variable which is a function of more than two or three independent variables, this differentiation will become partial differentiation. Okay, so that is volume integral of minus dou rho v by dou t. You will never write, when a variable is a function of three independent variables, you never attach a normal differentiation. You will always need to go for partial differentiation, that is dv. So closed surface integral j dot ds is always equal to volume integral of minus dou rho v by dou t. Now you have to, because one is a surface integration, closed surface integral, and other is an open volume integral, you will always need to go for divergence theorem. Using divergence theorem, what we get here is, okay, let us write a general expression for divergence theorem. Divergence of closed surface integral of a vector dot product with ds will always be equal to divergence of volume integral of divergence of that vector dv. This is what is the relation which is given by the divergence theorem. This and this both are exactly same. In place of a we have j, but that need to be converted in this particular format, so that this and this both will become volume integrations. Now in place of a, what we have is j, so we can simply write this is j, and in place of here also we should write it as j. So that means simply in place of this closed surface integral j dot ds, we can write this. So okay, let us write now volume integral. In place of this, I'm writing this. Okay, so volume integral divergence of j dv will always be equal to volume integral of minus dou rho v by dou t. dV. Most of the textbook people will say that removing volume integrations, but that's not a proper way of saying. You should always say that if the volume dimensions of both the integrations are same, then we can remove these volume integrations. Okay, you should write that if the volume dimensions of both integrations are same, then we can remove volume integrations. Right? Now you can simply remove these volume integrations, and you can simply write divergence of J is equal to minus dou rho V by dou T. And this is what is point form of continuity equation for current, or differential form of continuity equation for current. Suppose if this charge is equal to 0, that is if charge is this volume charge density is independent of time. Okay, then you can simply write that rho v, which is independent of time, will always be giving you the result which is 0. And this equation is called as continuity equation for steady currents. The steady current means which is the charge here is not a function of time. Okay, this also can be sometimes asked. Derive the expression for continuity equation for steady currents. It is nothing new. Once you write this expression, then you can simply say when rho v is independent of time, then we get del dot J equal to 0, which is called as continuity equation for steady currents. Okay, this is what is continuity equation for current, right? From this expression, we need to find relaxation time. It's very easy derivation, relaxation time. Okay, which is denoted by tau r. Okay, it is time, as it is saying, the name itself is saying it's time, so you should always take the units are seconds. Okay, which can be milliseconds, nanoseconds, microseconds, picoseconds, anything it can be, right? So how do you define this tau r? Okay, for that, let us start with the continuity equation expression that we got. We know that the expression for continuity equation in point form is divergence of J is equal to minus dou rho V by dou T. Okay, call this is equation number 1. Now once you get this, we know very well from the Ohm's law. From the Ohm's law, for field theory, we know very well that J is equal to sigma E. J is equal to sigma E. Okay, so what you can write here is substitute this second equation in 1. Okay, substitute 2 in 1. What we will be getting is del dot, okay, this J will be equal to sigma E. Okay, we'll go by step by step, minus dou rho V by dou T. Okay, call this is equation number 3. Once again, we know very well that the relation between D vector and E vector is D equal to epsilon E. D equal to epsilon E, and from this what we get is E equal to D by epsilon. Substitute this in the above equation. So what you will be getting is E equal to D by epsilon, that is sigma into D by epsilon is equal to minus dou rho V by dou T. Okay, so here what you have to consider is, so this del dot of sigma by E, which is a variable here, or constant. Okay, we don't know what is that, into D is equal to minus dou rho V by dou T. But we have an expression which we have studied earlier. Some del dot of alpha into A will be equal to, it is alpha into del dot A plus del alpha dot A, and this expression will become zero only when you consider alpha is a constant, and that alpha will become a constant only when you consider the medium is a linear medium. Okay, it should be actually linear isotropic homogeneous medium, but for getting our expression we should consider it is a linear medium. Linear medium means D is directly proportional to E, then D is equal to epsilon E. This medium is called as a linear medium where epsilon is just a constant. Okay, sigma is already a constant, epsilon is also a constant for a linear medium. So here you should consider the medium must be a linear medium. Then this sigma by epsilon, you can simply bring it out. That is del dot D is equal to minus dou rho V by dou T, right? Now it's very easy. Del dot D from our Maxwell equation, which is from Gauss law, is rho v. Okay, that is rho v into sigma by epsilon is equal to minus dou rho v by dou t. Therefore, what we will be getting is dou rho v by dou t plus sigma by epsilon into rho v is equal to 0. It's a very simple differential equation, first order differential equation, and we always get the solution for this rho v. Okay, because it is 0, there is only complementary function. There is no particular integral. Particular integral will become 0. You will have only complementary function. Then rho v, the solution is, no need to derive. Okay, you can directly write. The solution is, okay, for rho v is equal to some constant A into e power minus sigma by epsilon into t. Okay, so this is what is, let us call it as equation number 4. Equation number 4, right? At t equal to 0, you can, by substituting the boundary conditions, you will always get that constant. At t equal to 0, if you substitute, e power 0 will become 1, and A will be equal to rho v. Okay, so at t equal to 0, this A we can also call it as rho naught or rho v naught, anything you can write it. So therefore, your final expression is rho v equal to either rho v naught or rho naught, anything is fine. It is the initial volume charge density. I'll be calling here as rho naught into e power minus sigma by epsilon whole thing into t, and call this is fifth equation, and this is your expression which will be used for defining the relaxation time. Okay, so now what we can do here is we'll try to draw a graph between rho v and time. For that okay, so let us take this graph, and this is rho v and this is time. Now, what we can take is, this is a t equal to 0, right? This is a t equal to 0. At t equal to 0, it's very clear that the volume charge density is very large. Let us call that is rho naught. But as the time progresses, it's a decaying exponential. So volume charge density keep on decreasing, and at t equal to infinite, e power minus infinite will become 0. That means at t equal to 0, rho v is rho naught. At t equal to infinite, rho v is 0. So in between, it decays exponentially decreasing. It is an exponentially decreasing function. So we can take like this. Okay, don't make it 0. Okay, just try to see that it is going to 0 at infinite. Now I'll be taking at some point where there is some time at which the volume charge density rho v is some percentage of rho naught, because rho naught is a very larger value and this is not even half. We cannot say exactly how much value. It may be half, it may be one third, it may be 1/4, it may be 3/4, anything which we don't know. So that's the reason we'll be calling some X percentage of rho naught. Let us try to find out this X percentage from this expression, obviously, right? So rho v, we can write it as rho naught into that. Obviously, you will have to get from this only, right? E power minus, you can write this as T by epsilon by sigma. You can write like this, right? This can also be written as rho naught into e power minus T by, okay, this particular value will be equal to time. The units, I'll prove that this is absolutely equal to seconds. Okay, so this is tau r, okay, T by tau r. Now, if you want this rho v is equal to some percentage of rho naught, this value must be a number. Okay, this value must be a number, and then that number you will always get it only when you get it is the form of e power minus 1 or e power minus 2, like that. So it's, instead of going for e power minus 2, it is always better to go for e power minus 1, which is 1 by e. And that e power minus 1 you will always get when you take at t equal to tau r, and that itself is the time at which the relaxation time will be defined, right? So this t by tau r is equal to 1, or this can also be written as t equal to tau r. Both are same, anything is fine. So therefore rho v is equal to rho naught into e power minus 1, that is at t equal to tau r, or t by tau r is equal to 1. Now rho v is equal to 1 by e, which is 0.368 into rho naught. This is also called as 36.8 percentage of rho naught. Rho naught is the initial volume charge density, and this rho v is equal to 36.8 percentage of rho naught, which is at time is equal to tau r, which is at time t is equal to tau r, and at this particular time, the total volume charge density, which is decayed by or reduced by 36.8 percentage of its initial volume charge density, and that time we call it as relaxation time. Okay, so let us try to find out or write the expression for relaxation time. Okay, relaxation time, we will try to first define this and then I'll give you the expression for it, right? So it is the time, but this is for defining what? It is defining for the material which we have taken, right? So this generally will be happening for a conductor, okay, because in conductor generally the particular charges will be coming out fastly. So you can either write a material or a conductor for this particular. It is a time taken by a conductor or by a material to reduce or decay the charge to 36.8 percentage of its initial charge. Initial charge is rho naught or rho v naught here. It is the relaxation time is the time taken by a conductor or material to reduce or decay the charge to, okay, 36.8 percentage of its initial charge, right? And this is the definition of relaxation time. And in this, if we clearly took, just if you observe from this expression to this expression, this epsilon by sigma, I took it as tau r. Okay, that means the tau r expression here is simply, tau r expression will be simply epsilon by sigma. Always try to see that sigma, which is always in the denominator, because this sigma is of the order of 10 power 7 for the conductors, and epsilon, which is of the order of 10 power minus 12. Overall, it will become 10 power minus 19 seconds, which is a very, very small charge, because the charge decay must be very fast in a conductor. In a conductor, if you take the relaxation time is of 10 power 19 seconds, which is some millions and millions of years. Okay, so it will not take millions and millions of years. It will take a very less time. Micro, nano, pico, femto, it is lesser than even that. Time to decay the charge, okay, by 36.8 percentage of its initial value, right? So that means you should always think that the sigma will be very, very large, which should be in the denominator part, right? And units, if you observe, we should get seconds, right? Epsilon unit will be farad per meter, and this is moho per meter. Meter gets cancelled. Farad is the unit of capacitance. I'll be writing C. Moho, which is nothing but 1 by resistance, that is R, okay, which will come up. And this is RC, which is time constant. Okay, so time constant unit and the time relaxation time unit both are seconds. Okay, in this way, you can at least conclude that the epsilon by sigma will be giving the units. In case if you have a doubt that it is sigma by epsilon, check with the units. You will get 1 by RC. 1 by RC means 1 by second. So tau r will not have the units of 1 by second. Okay, so you should at least remember the expression, because you may get problems on this epsilon by sigma, which is relaxation time. Not a direct problem. You will get a little bit twisted problems. Okay, if you can able to remember this rho v is equal to rho naught into e power minus t by tau r, you can able to solve any problem, because this is also important. He'll give you rho naught sometimes, some coulomb per nano coulomb per meter cube, and at t is equal to, let's say, some 3 time constants or 5 time constants for 5 relaxation times. Okay, so you will be asked to calculate what is rho v. You just need to substitute rho v value here, e power minus t is equal to 3 tau r. Tau r gets cancelled, e power minus 3 or e power minus 5 into this rho naught will be giving you rho v. Okay, that's how you should be able to solve the problems. They are very easy, but the thing is you need to remember this particular problem. Else, if he gives epsilon r and sigma value directly, he may ask you to calculate tau r just by using this formula. But most of the times epsilon will be equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r. You should able to know this epsilon naught value, which is 8.854 into 10 power minus 10 power minus 12 farad per meter, or 1 by 36 pi into 10 power 9 farad per meter. Okay, any of these you should be able to remember. Both are same. Okay, so that's about continuity equation for current as well as relaxation time. It's a very, very important question, right? Thank you. If you like these videos, please don't forget to subscribe.